I think until the end of time, schools will be navigating dress code and what that means both culturally, both based on gender, all of these things.
We as a society look at things like, the wearing of hoods or hats. The staff members see, a student wearing a hoodie as being disrespectful, even though that student may not be trying to be disrespectful at all, but yet that's how we take it. And so we put these policies in place that we want to help change the behavior, but yet it's really not a behavior, it's students trying to protect themselves.
When policies impact certain student populations, what we do in equity audits is we look at the data around the policy and make inferences about the policy. So you come and you say, okay, we've got a clothing policy, all right? 75% of referrals that are written up about the clothing policy happen to be on our low SES students. It's a problem. If policies are disproportionately applied, what's the purpose of the policy from an equity perspective? What's the purpose of it?
On that professional development day, I looked around the room and I saw several staff members. And normally on those days where we don't have students, staff members will come in and they'll have a hat on, a baseball cap on. And I took the opportunity to point that out, but I also myself had a hooded sweatshirt on. And so in front of the staff, I put up my hood and I said, we have several staff members that have their hats on and I don't think anybody thought anything of it. But if I would have walked in here with my hood on as a black man, how would you see me differently, or would you see me differently? And I think it surprised a lot of people, and I think it made them take a step back and think about that. Even though that I feel like I am respected, would that be different if I brought myself in a different way to school, if I didn't have a shirt and tie on and I had a hoodie on? The academy itself and the conversations and the understanding has caused me to try to go deeper and to find ways that we can go deeper with our staff. And that's an example of one way that I feel like we've done that.
As we moved through that year, our new principal was navigating some of these dress code issues. He started having some conversations with me about maybe he needs to think differently about the dress code that he's implementing. And then I just kind of asked him to just spend some time researching other ways that people wear things on their head. And he spent a good time with his leadership team examining the cultural pieces when it comes to things that kids wear on their head. And as a group and as a leader, he decided, and he asked if he could come to the school board and simply say, we don't think what kids put on their heads impact how they do math. And we think the impact of requiring students to not be allowed to wear something on their head does not allow them to come to school and be represented to who they are, both independently, individually, and culturally. And here's the deal. No discipline referrals went up. No one's gotten in more trouble. Actually, kids have felt better. Some of our students who might deal with some kind of mental health or some anxiety, just having their hood up, that made kids feel so much calmer. So it was clear from their reaction as well as from the principal's reaction saying, this hasn't really impacted the worry people had. It actually has allowed me to have better conversations with students. It's such a small story, but it's a big impact on how we go about seeing our kids. And once we start seeing our kids, all of them, maybe we can start changing how we go about providing instructional academics to them.